The champion comes home to win the Cox Plate. Makybe Diva.
We'd really set one target for her, one goal, the whole spring, and that was to win the Ladbrokes Cox Plate because, you know, she'd already won the 2 cups. She'd done some other cool things, Australian Cups and BMWs, and there's one race you have to win, it's the Ladbrokes Cox Plate because it's our best race.
Field is ready, racing in the Cox Plate.
For me, it was a lot of pressure because everyone was going to turn up to watch one thing only, and that was to watch Makybe Diva win the Ladbrokes Cox Plate, and there was one person that could get it wrong, and that was me, so I felt pressure.
Good jockeys like him, they adapt to whatever they need to adapt to.
Yeah, it was unique because we got to about the 1,000 metre mark and I was in good rhythm, felt very comfortable. Things were starting to work out, and then the horses started to fan, and I thought, okay, that's fine, I'll just go with you to make sure I had clean air. That was the only, I really wanted to make sure I had clean air for her. And all of a sudden, another one popped out, and I was sort of going with them, and all of a sudden there was like, I think 10 of us in a line, and I was 7th.
It always supplies an enormous amount of theatre for one reason or another, the Cox Plate, because I mean that was the year that they all took off early and went, you know, they were 10 and 12 deep out on the track. That's probably the best photo to come out of that race, not the winning photo, was the photo down the side where there were like horses lined out 10 and 12 deep.
And they're all taking off at the 550 metre mark, a wall of horses around the outside.
The millisecond after they've all gone too soon. She was the only one that was going to be left standing at the end of the straight because she was so dominant at that time.
That's Makybe Diva in front of Laturia. Fields of Omar coming back in the middle, but Makybe Diva, she's the champ. She wins the Cox Plate.
I'm so thankful just to be a small part of this great mare's career. There's nothing she can't do, I tell you. It's freaky what she does.
She's 26, but she's in as good a health as you could ask for. And I mean, all we can do is keep doing what we're doing because at the moment she's thriving. Bossy is, yeah, he comes out quite regularly and he still believes that she recognises him and that she knows his voice and everything like that.
Speaking to Tony Sanic, she still runs around the paddock, still leading up the other mares. So she's in great form. I don't know how much longer she's got on this earth, but I'll be making my way down to see her this spring again.
You have to describe Makybe Diva in only a few words. How would you describe her?
A bloody good horse.
Like legend, freak, champion. You know what I mean? Like there's so many words, but you mean she's a smarter mare than anything else I've ever come across. And with that, she's just unique.
She changed my life forever. She changed so many other people's life forever. She left a huge footprint, not only in our sport, but in Australian history, because she created something that might not be done again.